Well, I've just arrived to pay customs charges on a new tent. This is a first for a long time. I think the last time I did this was for a Henry Shires tarp tent. So as you can tell, this one isn't from the UK. Well, I don't know what that is, but there might be a ground sheet. I'm not sure. Footprint, stickers, more stickers, and a hiker's bandana, which is actually really good because of COVID. I was looking for something like this that I could use as a bandana and as a cover when I go into shops, etc. And the tent itself. Right, let's get this out of the packet and see what it weighs first of all. Nicely done bag actually. Nice wee sewn in logo in there, and then a kind of compression strap system which kind of shortens it and compresses it at the same time by the look of it. I'll see what the weight is now. What are we looking at? Just under 1.1 with hang tags. Haven't been inside it yet to see what else is in there we might be able to remove. Feel the holes in a wee separate silver nylon bag. I can hear pegs. Alright, okay, big peg bag as well. And the tent in a nice forest green. So it comes with 6 DAC V pegs. Very good quality standard fare that you see in a lot of tents. But what I do like actually is these already have the puller cords attached, which just makes life a lot easier. And then we've got top quality DAC Featherlight NSL poles. I see they've got hubs on them, so I think this is all one piece. It'll be one major pole and 2 short poles at either end, but I think they're all linked together, which is good. Having removed the excess bags, bits and pieces, we are pretty much bang on a kilo. The inner and the outer are attached together on this one, so it pitches as one, and it's an external pole system, which should be good for UK conditions. One wee detail I noticed here again is their badge on the sewn into the fly sheet is non-absorbent. So unlike Fjallraven tents I've had in the past and others where it's a cloth badge, it picks up moisture and then it's hard to dry and can cause mould in the tent. This is a kind of rubberized plasticky badge. I'm not sure if you can see this in the camera, but the inner tent material is a denser fabric than normal no-seam mesh, which makes me think this will be warmer for 4-season use. It's the kind of fabric that's used in the doors of Hilleberg's lightweight tents like the Enan, and also on the end panels of the Enan you'll see something very similar. I think it must be silicone on the outside and polyester on the inside because the seams are already taped, which is great. I did think I was going to have to silnate this. Let's get a wee look at this extra bag, which I'm assuming is a footprint, but it didn't say it would actually come with that. So thanks to Zerogram Gear, they've sent me a footprint for it as well, which they don't mention in the details. Save me using Tyvek or a space blanket, I guess. I haven't actually weighed this yet, but it is quite heavy duty polyester, so it might be a wee bit on the heavy side. I'll decide whether to use it in the field or not. And last but not least, they've sent me the bandana, which has got the California, I presume that's the, I don't know what it is, PCT? I think that's the PCT, isn't it? I think that might be right. I think I've got it the right way round, hopefully. DAC clips. Makes more sense. So this is the only venting point on it, one wee prop vent. We'll see how that goes. I think you will get quite a lot of condensation in it. There's some extra guying points at the top and down here, which I'll need to dig out some extra guys and pegs for. Just shows you the cross frame detail at the back. So to pin the door back, you basically just roll the door out the way there and then use this toggle attachment and loop around the pole, and I think that just holds it. It seems relatively faff free and should give me enough room to get in and out. Two ways zip, one going up to the left, one going up to the right. And then I think this just rolls up. Yeah, it does. There's a wee toggle and elastic here. Feels quite warm in here already, I'll tell you that much. It has one wee hanging loop for a lantern. Doesn't seem to have another one at either end to create a drying line, which is a wee bit of a shame. It has one internal pocket, quite long, just enough to take phones, bits and pieces, personal gear. Can't access the prop vent from the inside, which is just minor. So you just have to unpop the prop from the outside if you want to close the vent completely. But it's so well sealed, I suspect you'd want this open all the time. And then one of the things I liked about this was this wee internal boot space. A tiny wee vestibule inside, which I'll try and get a pack into, but it would at least take boots and odds and sods and cooking gear. So that's a Neo Air Xtherm inside, probably about 4 inches at the bottom to spare, and an inch or so at the top. And width wise for the inner, you can see it's quite generous, so it doesn't in any way feel claustrophobic. That's my winter down bag inside there, MacPack 700 Sanctuary, just to give you an idea of scale. So with an Xtherm in place, sleeping bag, headroom is just sufficient. It's still fine, my head's not rubbing, and it stays relatively flat to my left here by about 1.5 feet, so it's quite a usable internal space. So you can see the height you've got above your down sleeping bag, or my sleeping bag, which means there should be no contact with a very tight low inner at the back. A nice big high, must be 2 feet high roughly. This is the wee vestibule at the head end again. I've put my shoes on just to give you a wee bit more idea of scale. But I think you'd probably get cooking stuff, boots, etc. and you'd probably be able to stand your pack up in this boot, keep it out the wet. I call it a boot because it's not really a vestibule. So lengthwise, no problem at all for me. I think about 6 foot and above you might find it a wee bit tight lengthwise. But as you can see, there's no contact because of this massive box foot here. It's also worth mentioning the inner is detachable, so you can keep the fly up, take the inner down and keep it dry separately. Or indeed just use the outside tent as an even lighter weight summer option. The standard of finishing and everything looks good on it. Typical kind of Korean quality actually. It looks absolutely fine. I don't see any issues with any of the fabric or any of the sewing so far. Nothing that I've noticed that's untoward. Taping all looks good. And I really do like this inner mesh, which is just much nicer than standard no-seam. Much more dense, feels stronger. I suspect will be warmer and less drafty. One thing I would like to have seen is another zipper at the top of the door so you could vent more. Not that you can cook in here, but I think just with it being so warm, anything else that you can use to vent would have been more useful. So a two-way zipper would be ideal. Yeah, so the overriding impression inside is one of space. It's actually very generous for a one-man tent at 1 kilo. Apart from obviously walking pole designs like the Six Moons designs, or the 3FUL Pro is kind of roomy, but then you've got to use a walking pole or a cabin pole with it. So yeah, impressed with the generous interior space. So the good news is my pack does basically fit in there. You can either stand it up or just lie it on its side, or indeed just lie it and put stuff on top of it. So that's fine, that means everything's under cover and dry. So what I'm going to do just to beef it up is I'm adding 2 guy lines. The line locks are already there. and I've got some Dyneema cord, so I'll just cut 2 extra guys and take 2 extra carbon pegs, and that should beef it up and allow me to wrap it around the poles as well. So there you go, my first impression of the Zerogram Gear Thru Hiker 1P. I do like it. It's a lot of space, it's very light at around about 1 kilo. You'll need to add an extra couple of guys. It has a boot space for all your gear, but cooking will have to be done outside. Detachable inner, and it pitches as one, which is great for UK conditions. So I'll beef it up with guys and poles, because it is a bit delicate. It's more a through hiking tent for long distance trails than something you want to take high in the mountains, I would say. I certainly would trust my Black Diamond a lot more than this. But yeah, really nicely made. Nice design, very spacious, and I'm looking forward to trying it this weekend. So if you have any questions, just drop me a line below, and I'll try and answer them as best I can. Thanks again for watching.